everybody, welcome to episode 13 of Startup Segments. My name is Theresa and I am the head of marketing at Simple Desk. So today I'm going to give you my top 4 tips for being successful on Pinterest. So this is for people if you've been at Pinterest for a while and you haven't seen success, or you're looking to go into that direction. If that sounds like you, stay tuned and let's get started. So the thing I really love about Pinterest from a marketing perspective is that you're already hitting people when they're at a decision-making process. So these are people who are DIYers, who want to learn about how to do something for themselves, so lots of how-tos. They want top 5 tips. They're looking for products or services that fulfill a need or solve a problem that they have, and they're already at the stage where they're ready to have access to information, or they're ready to make a decision when it comes to purchasing a product or a service. So that's really what I love about it, because that is a bit of a leg up over Facebook and Instagram. So with those 2 platforms, you're kind of just putting your message out there. You're having to do a lot more work to cultivate and kind of warm those leads up, but with Pinterest, you're already getting people when they're ready to commit to an action. So that's what I really love about it. And again, if you are kind of in that DIY sector, or if you're an educational resource, if you're willing to teach people about what it is that you do, Pinterest will be very successful for you if you do it properly. So my top tip, my very first one, is to use keywords. So if you watch my startup segments about SEO, you will know that keywords is essentially kind of getting in the mind of somebody as they're doing a search and figuring out what words that they're using to search. So it won't necessarily be that your pin will be specifically named after a product or a service that you offer. It might be focused on that keyword. So for example, if I was to create a pin or like a how-to blog on social media marketing, I would know from a marketing perspective, anybody who's looking for this type of content is probably going to search social media marketing. So I would take into account when I'm creating my pin, the design. Do I want to have social media marketing in the actual pin design? I would obviously put it through the text, so describing what the pin's about. I would make the title have something to do with social media marketing, and then I would make sure that the alt text, so if the image doesn't load, it will say social media marketing, whether that be top 5 tips, how to, do's and don'ts, whatever it is, make sure that it has keywords in it and that you're putting the keywords throughout the creation of your pin. That just ensures that people are more likely to find your content, because there is a ton of content out on Pinterest. It's just like Facebook and Instagram. You're always in competition with people. So doing the legwork to figure out what people are searching and how you can put those keywords into your pin will help with just getting more eyes onto your content. My second tip is applying for rich pins. So rich pins, you do need a meta tag, but you can figure out how to do that simply by Googling rich pins on Pinterest and finding the code. So what essentially it does, for lack of a better description, is essentially it pulls data from your website and populates a pin based on that. So if you've got a product that you're wanting to sell, say it's a dandruff shampoo and it's solving the problem of dry, itchy scalp, you're going to want to link you're going to want to use that meta tag in your pin to pull the content from your website. So it's going to pull description, it's going to pull title, it's going to pull price, so that when somebody sees the product and they're like, oh, I think this will actually help me, they can just click on that pin once they've seen all the information that's pulled from the site, and it takes them directly to your site for purchase. So it may seem a little bit confusing, but Pinterest has made it so easy for anybody. You don't have to have any marketing experience. All you need to know is how to put that meta information in so that the data populates from your website. So rich pins, have a look. It doesn't cost anything to do. It just makes everything so much easier when it comes to pushing people down the purchasing funnel. My third tip is to create blogs. So if you're already blogging, you can use pre-existing content. If you're looking to get into blogs, I do recommend sharing them on Pinterest as well, because like I said, you're really kind of getting to people when they're already at that decision-making process. They want to learn more about something. They want to learn how to do something themselves. They want to know tips and tricks and do's and don'ts. So when you're creating blog content like that, you'll obviously do up a nice pin, give a really short description, a really informative description using those keywords, and then you're going to link to your blog. So why I love that is that you can find people who are already in the process, but then it also directs them back to your website. That's essentially a home run for most people, because people will be on your website, they'll see you as a resource, they might go read more blogs, they might go and look at your products and services, they might sign up for email. So the great thing about Pinterest is that it's not just purchasing or signing up for services, it's so much more. It can be following. It can be going on your social medias and giving your page likes. It could be signing up for your email. These are all things that you do to kind of just keep engaging with people and push them down the sales funnel. And my fourth tip, which may seem a little bit overwhelming for some people, is to do advertising. So Pinterest has made it super easy to do paid advertising. Once you've got it set up as a business account, it's super easy to see how you want things to run. You can really look at the data. And my tip for advertising is just put a small budget to it. Just put $20 or $30 to your ad spend and just see how it runs. What I usually like to do before doing any ad spend, especially when I'm just starting out, is to just do the tips that I had mentioned previously. So doing all the keywords, making things look very visually appealing, making sure they're very descriptive, making sure everything's linking back to where it should. Just look at that raw data, that organic data. So look at things like age, gender, location, what other topics that they're related to, because you may be able to piggyback off of those other topics and get more people into looking at your content who definitely are ready to take the leap for whatever it is that you want them to do. So analyze that data and then pick a pin that's performed really well. So don't pick a pin that's not done well. Pick one that's maybe been pinned a lot or been viewed a lot and it just organically has done well, because when things do well organically and you put an ad spend behind them, it really just seems to be successful when it comes to advertising. So as long as you've got your audience targeting down, most of the time it does very well. And then again, you will do that once, look at the data once the ad spend's done, and then retarget. And then you won't have to always put a small ad spend behind it if you don't want to, but you also don't necessarily need to put a big ad spend behind it either. So if you're really getting refined with your targeting, if you're putting the right demographic in, if you're putting the right keywords in, you can really do successful Pinterest advertising with a smaller budget. So that's really what I love about Pinterest. Obviously, there are a ton of other things to keep into consideration, like making sure that visually your pins look amazing, that everything's organized, that your profile is set up perfectly. And if you want to know more about this, direct message me or comment below, and I can send you the link for our Pinterest course. So we have a Pinterest 101 course, which essentially breaks down from the very beginnings, before you even set up your page, kind of the theory behind Pinterest, and walks you through the different things. So it walks you through advertising, it walks you through setting up your page, creating pins. It's a very simple way to learn how to do Pinterest on your own. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Have a great day, and let us know if you have any more questions for us for the startup segments for next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye.